You learn so much and you meet people, and it's just a really great experience.
President Bush, we sang for him. It was cool.
I actually just started because I really wanted to travel, but then I got into the singing, and my first concert, I just got up there and they gave us a standing ovation. I was just like, wow.
Tried out for the first couple of weeks and I just got hooked.
When I got into this choir, I could not sing at all, basically, but I think I'm a very good singer now.
I think it's a wonderful organization. Just from seeing what my son got out of it, and to know that other boys are getting the same benefits.
It wasn't until later when I got out that I thanked my mom for signing me up and having me do this later.
I think the most critical thing that they can carry forward is the belief in their own potential. They see that they can apply themselves, exercise discipline, and they can achieve something that, most of them don't start out with.
There's always a place for boys' choirs. There's a place in the music world, and there's also a need for boys to be able to be supported in not necessarily a sports atmosphere, and not necessarily an academic atmosphere, but I think we combine all of that into the experience of being a Land O'Lakes Choirboys member.
Land O'Lakes Choirboys Backstage is a co-production of the Land O'Lakes Choirboys and TPT's Minnesota channel. Additional support for this program has been provided to the Land O'Lakes Choirboys by the City of Monticello, Minnesota, and
when I was in the Marine Corps back in the early 60s, I should say, very early 60s, I had an opportunity to hear the Vienna Boys Choir. I didn't really want to go to the concert. I had no interest in that kind of thing, but a friend of mine, another Marine, talked me into going. I remember these little guys coming out on stage, and I was immediately impressed. I thought, wow, look at how at ease they are. They're smiling, and they're professional in their sailor suits and what have you. And then the conductor came out wearing tails, and I thought, well, this is overkill. I mean, this guy thinks he's conducting an orchestra or something, and he's got a bunch of little kids in front of him. Well, that feeling went away very quickly when they made their first sound. Just blew me away. And I can tell you, by intermission, this is what I wanted to do. Somebody had called me and asked me to put together a children's choir. And I said, well, if it's a children's choir, it's going to be a boys' choir. And they said, well, that's fine. Boys are children, too, so that works.
When we moved to Elk River, I was 11 years old. And at the time, I sang in the church choir and sang at school, and my mom thought I had a good voice. And so with that, Andy, the founder of the choir, put out a bulletin kind of to the city and said, hey, we're going to start this boys' choir.
And of course, immediately when I went out and started talking to people, I was met with, well, this is a hockey town. I don't think you're going to find any boys that'll sing in a choir. And I said, well, no, I'm not worried about that. I'll find plenty of them. And I got 18 kids to come out. But to answer your question, I was nervous about it. I really didn't know what kind of a reaction there would be.
And so my mom signed me up for it. I didn't want to do it. I fought through it. Why would I do that? It cut into my golf, it cut into school, it cut into fun. And so, and I didn't realize how much fun it could be. So it was the best thing that obviously I did.
It's hard for me to think that there's a little town in Minnesota that has developed this wonderful choir.
We raise the bar for these boys. And as long as we continue to challenge them, then they're going to rise to the occasion.
The boys get into it through the strength of the relationship with these men, just the rapport that they have with them, and then they get caught on the music.
When those guys hit a high B flat, the hairs on your neck, and I don't care who you are, whether you like music or not, they will stand up on your neck about 3 feet high.
I think what's neat about these kids is they are everyday, ordinary kids. They do not have any special musical training when they come to us.
You don't have to know how to sing to join the choir. They teach you that along the road.
Drive it. Everybody auditions. However, the auditions are very simple. They're not demanding at all. What do we call that? Yes. Because we realize that many of the boys have never sung before. Formally, they love music. Many of them say, well, I don't know how to sing. I can't sing like that. And my answer is, of course not. Nobody has taught you. And that's our job. We will teach you to sing. All you have to do is be willing to work, be able to hear pitches, and then we will do the rest of the work.
From the time they get out of the car to the time they get back in the car, what are the things that the kids are doing?
Well, it depends on what time they get there. A lot of them come early so that they can play. We've got a nice game room set up for them. We firmly believe that fun is part of any kind of learning experience, and some of the younger prefects like PJ get to go out and run with them in the sports field, and they love doing that.
We play football, soccer, and, well, sometimes just goof around out there on the field. And we sing, too, for fun.
Usually they have an hour and a half practice, and then they have about a 10 or 15-minute break in there when they can go play. And when they finish up, then they also get some time to play. Saturdays are there for 3 hours, so they get about 45 minutes in breaks total, 15-minute increments. But it's all about having a good time as well, and stretching and running around a little bit, and companionship and relationships and all of those kinds of things.
I think we promote too much competition in boys and not enough camaraderie, of just being able to do things that we have in common with each other without trying to beat each other. And I think that's what boy choirs have to offer quite a bit of.
This disconnect between music education and how they're going to make a living. Music education is not for the purpose of we're going to make little musicians out of them and they can get a job playing in an orchestra or something. Music, that's not what music is intended for. Music is not a way to make a living, it's a way of life.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. My theory is, and what I state, is that every person can be trained to sing. It's just a matter of technique. Well, my philosophy is very unusual, but it yields spectacular results and also very, very quickly. Number one, I do not train the voice. I train the body, because the body is an instrument. The string of a piano cannot do anything on its own. It needs the soundboard and the body here. Or the string of a violin on its own is nothing. Connected to the violin and the sounding board and the body and the resonance areas, then the sound is born. The body is exactly the same. So I train the body. Another aspect is I teach the boys never to breathe in. They only breathe out. Breathing is the same as when we sleep. And you may or may not know, but when we sleep, we never breathe in. We only breathe out. Breathe out, and the air just comes in by itself. And once I started that with my singers, suddenly this beautiful, rich, resonating sound was born. And we work with the minimum of air. As I tell the boys, enough to sniff a rose, and that's all we work with. So the secret of breathing is not how you breathe in, it's how you breathe out. And this yields the most beautiful sound you can imagine. So the body is very, very important. The same with this string. If I pluck the string of a piano, I don't get much of a sound on its own. But if I lift the dampers off and I let it vibrate, I've got a sound. The voice is just the same. We need a soundboard. Where is our soundboard, do you think? This is our soundboard. When the string vibrates, our vocal cords, it goes to the back picks up the sound, and that's where the sound is born, in the back. So we do all of our singing using our back. And then this sound goes all through the body. The shape of the body is very important. The shape of the head is very important. The shape of the back of the head is important. The chest,